Hello folks and welcome. We are going to do something different today. We are going to do a mission. As I say, something different. It's not. We're back in the human comedy, but we're testing out another car. So, having set a top 10 stars in one of the other laps, I thought about giving this a go, but I really don't want to be going using cars that I've already done before. Part of this process is to demonstrate that a range of cars can complete these missions, and there's one car I really do love, and you'll see it here behind me, the F40, but I haven't found a race for it where it really excels. So in previous versions of the game, update 1.27, 1.25, when I tried it, didn't cut the mustard, but the changes to the game now seem to have made this one really viable. And I don't mean for a top 10 stars pace, I mean for winning this race and getting you through gold. So whilst many people run this race once, get it won and done it, I run it multiple times. So let's have a look at the car. We're going to use racing hards. We've got a PP target of 620. This one's coming in at 619.86. Suspension, we're using normal. We could play with that and go for something more, but we don't have to. Settings are as they are. Differential settings, we're using the fully customizable, and there they are. On the rear, 10, 20, 30. Freeze frame that how you need to. Downforce on the front is set because we're not using an adjustable wing. 249 on the rear. Fully customizable ECU set to 70. No ballast. Power restrictor on 76. Fully customizable manual gearbox at 280. No nitrous. We're not using a turbocharger. We're not using any upgrades in this center section. We've just got the brake balance controller, which we'll look at as we go through the race. We really want to use that to not necessarily affect how the car handles. We're going to use that to affect tyre wear. That's my way of using it. And we've just got increased body rigidity and a normal clutch. Nothing else added to this car. It's severely powered down, but we'll see how it does. The aim with this race, and we'll talk about when we get to the next screen. The aim of this race is to beat Mr. Inostroza. He is in the Porsche Cayenne he's in the Porsche Taycan Turbo R. It's an electric vehicle, isn't it? As you can see there from my friends list, let's have a look at the ranking board. We've got people putting 40 laps in, 38 with the Pipe Peaks Quattro, and 37 there with the RA272. We know they're very capable cars. That Cappuccino 91 is the engine swap variant. I've got that car and I know I can do it in that, but I've already ruined one guy's day. I don't want to do it again, so I'll save that for another day. We'll give him some time. There we are in the top 10s. Look at them. Top 10 superstars. 3 of my mates in the top 10. Well done, boys. Well done. That's good stuff. I'm not going to try and mix in there with you with that car. I'm going to leave that to you guys. Unless this bad boy works. So, settings for the race. Assists. Traction control 1. Default ABS. Everything else off. And as you can see, I'm using manual. So controller settings, open configuration, max torque feedback 5, max feedback sensitivity 6. So we'll talk about it as we go, as I normally do. We'll give you a full race, 1 hour long, with commentary. Let's dive straight in. Here we go then, folks. Let's just make sure that brake balance is to the front. And then for the first couple of laps, we're going to be watching the fuel gauge. And we're going to be trying to cutting through this. So we started in 12th, and we're going to be trying to get to the front. For those of you that have done this race before and know anything about it, Inostroza is out there in a Porsche. He is an electric Porsche, so he needs to stop every 10 laps to recharge the battery or take a battery swap or whatever it is they do with that car. I'm guessing he's also going to be running softs and changing tyres as well. We are going to attempt 20 laps on hards, or at least the halfway stage on hards. So if we can get anywhere near bit of a slide there, anywhere near the halfway stage on 20 laps and targeting that 40 laps, that would be terrific. But we know that Cappuccino's got one advantage over us, what the guys have used to set their 40 laps, and that has been the fact that it doesn't need to fuel stop, it only needs that set of tyres. So the biggest part of this race though is the time it takes to make the stop. Both getting in, refueling is the big slow drag, but that's the penalty you get for taking a car that uses so much fuel. Now there is another car that we can use around here that doesn't need to refuel, that takes the a 2-cylinder engine swap, or it takes the Escudo engine, I think it is, or is it a 4-barrel rotary? Yeah, it's one of the old RX-7s that absolutely flies around here. But we're into 3rd place now, just behind Mr. Breyer. And Mr. Breyer is going to show us the way. Mr. Inostroza has just set the fastest lap of 1:36.275. We are going to attempt to smash that this lap. If we can get our pedal to the metal. We had a 1:41 out lap, but don't forget we were 12th on the grid. So we had to go from 12th to the start line before we started our time. So Mr. Breyer losing the back end, and there's Mr. Inostroza. He is not far away at all. So he's in our targets. We've got the acceleration there. So we've just put that Alpine behind us, and now we're going to chase Mr. Inostroza. If we can put in a 1:33 here and assert our dominance, we'll break him. We certainly will. We'd like to be with him or ahead of him before he pits, just to show him our tail lights on this classic F40. An absolute rampant beast it seems round here, and it's not even fully tuned. Now you'll have to excuse me, I'm still suffering with this cough and cold, so I have to keep lubricated. I'm currently on the old medicated drinks. That was a 1:34, which absolutely gives us the fastest lap of the race so far, and we're going to really take the challenge to Mr. Inostroza. If he wants to win this race, he's going to have to go great guns, but we are going to start to assert ourselves by just chasing him down, then we're going to pass him. That's my wish anyway. We'll see if we can get to him before the 10th lap. What we'd like to be able to do is pit and be gone on the 20th lap. We know we're going to take that little bit longer to pit, but we also need to make sure these tyres are going to make it. We don't have any sort of tyre indicator at this point to say where we are on where we are on tyre depth. That would certainly help us. But we'll see where we go. We might be a bit slippy slidey by the 20th lap or the 18th lap, whichever one is going to be halfway. But putting in these decent fast laps, if we can get it up to 33 in, it'll be terrific. There's a 33.9, so we're on our way. Not forgetting the tyres have an optimal point, which used to be to lap 4 or 5, but it seemed to working out to be 7 or 8 now, which is probably more realistic. Now, could we have run medium tyres and run a 2-stop strategy? One taking fuel just to go that little bit distance, but you're doing 2 in laps then. You're doing 2 out laps. You're doing that long drag through the pit lane, and we don't need that long time. We're just going to do it the once, which is just like the Cappuccino, but he doesn't take fuel. He just changes tyres. So Mr. Inostroza is there on lap 4 in front of us. We're going to see if we can overtake him, maybe going past the pit straight. we'll see. He's just got the message that we're behind him, and he seems to be giving it the beans. He's got an answer to our chase. But we're going to attempt to, as we said at the start, assert dominance. We might just have to go door to door with him. At this point, we want to chase him. We don't want to race him. We've improved that fastest lap of 1:33.757, which is happy days. He's definitely had the hurry up. He's had the call from the pit wall to say they're behind you. They're coming. But he won't be able to push that hard. He'll all be running extremely quickly, but he'll either burn his tyres out or his battery. We've got to be careful on our tyres. The fronts are just starting to show that little bit more wear than the rear. See if we can use his slipstream. See if we can break him. Let's see what we can do here. Is he going to give us the wall? He's going to try. He's now behind us. Going to give him the room on the inside. He's got a Michelin number plate on there, look. Our previous best fastest is 39 laps. It looks like we could be swapping a couple of places with Mr. Inostroza. He's not afraid, is he? He doesn't mind a little bit of door rubbing. Rubbing is racing, Mr. Inostroza, is it? We will just agree with you. Or was that your final message to say you're beaten? We will just keep pushing on, my friend. I feel my right hand tyres are going to be the ones that are going to give out on me. Oh, little brush with the wall. He's got to keep going though. He's got to do his pit stops. Lap 10. What we've got to do is manage our tyres so we can do that one stop. I think we're going to be alright looking at what we've got. If we're not sliding it about, if we're pushing on, we will be fine. But it's what we can do. It's whether we can. 10 minutes down, we're doing 6, that's going to be 18, that's going to be 36 laps. And that was braking on the 150. We're going to be carrying slightly less fuel next stint. We really needed to have done kind of 7 laps by 10 minutes, but we know that's not going to be the case. This is lap 7. That would have taken us to 21. Let's see if we can just keep putting them 133s in, 134s. Doing that would be excellent. Doesn't give us much room. But we know the Cappuccino can do 40 laps. We've done 39 previously, so... And we We're 2 seconds clear of Inostroza now. See if we can just short shift up to get a slurp of the old Lemsip. Get that back down there without dropping it. Another fastest lap, a 1:33.397. Just setting the way, leading the way, just making it so he hasn't got any sort of comeback. We don't want to mess this up either. We want to keep this all in control. So we're just adding this car as another one of the capable cars that should be able to complete this mission without any drama. The people find that this race is extremely challenging, finding a car to compete with that Porsche, and he's backed right off. Look, we've got 4.7 seconds on him now, and he really is backed off. He's not even in our rear view mirrors. As we're getting lighter with fuel. 4.4 at the end of the straight. 4.3 as we go down the hill. He's trying to recover some of that, I think, purely because he's being told to. Mr. Fernandez has gone to the pits on his medium tyres. Mr. Fernandez is normally really quite quick, capable of putting fastest laps in. He was in the red R34, I believe. Yeah, we're definitely going to get these tyres to go 20 laps, one thinks. And he slides it all the way around that corner just to tip his hat towards the tyres and say, no, you know best, you squeal away. Jesus. Lap 9, coming on to lap 10, and if you double that, we're going to be about half worn on the tyres. It's going to be pretty bob on, one would suggest. A pretty close estimate to a halfway. 46 minutes left. I think we'll be pushing for 39 laps again. Maybe. Depends on the length of the pit stop. Even at 39 laps. Inostroza's gone to the pits behind us. He was some 6 seconds to our deficit when he went in, 6.5 seconds. Mr. Breyer retakes the lead at 18 seconds down. So if we have 12 seconds lead when we go into the pits on lap whatever it is at halfway, we will be okay. Because at 12 seconds lead he will never overtake us. But I'm kind of hoping, because we've broken him so hard, we will be able to lap the entire field. That's what I'm hoping for. Just looking at the lap times. Last lap was a 1:34.324. We are now much lighter than we were, being almost 50% of our fuel used. We're 21 seconds ahead of Breer, and Inostra he's not in the top 10 by the looks of it. He's definitely outside the top 8. A 1:33.4. That's impressive stuff. Now we know we've got room in the tyres. Let's see if we can go on and do some fancy pants stuff and just see if we can get a 1:32 without killing the tyres. That would be a bit silly. We're in a commanding position. We just want to see if we can push on and do something a little bit special. Let's see if we can get that 39th guaranteed and equal the Cappuccino's best. In my hands anyway. We'll see what we can do. Lap 11, 24 seconds ahead. We shouldn't be far off lapping somebody. There they are. We'll start to see these names quite frequently, I think. I was going to say it's Van Nistelrooy, but he used to play for Man U. Little Suzuki Swift moving quickly. We're going to try Van den Heuvel in 20th place. A 1:33.7. That's still pretty good for the dinosaur that is the F40. I never have driven an F40. I've driven a couple of Ferraris in real life. My 21st birthday present, I was given a Ferrari driving day. That was some best part of 29 years ago, 28 years ago. I got to drive a Mondial and a Testarossa. It was a fantastic day. We got to drive more than just the Ferraris. I got my first ever passenger ride in a rally car, which was an Escort Cosworth. Absolute stunner. I've never been in such a car at such breakneck speed. Didn't understand how it turned corners quite so quickly. Phenomenal. We got to drive a Golf GTI, first time in a GTI, and I managed to impress the instructor. Said he didn't realise I'd changed gears. I was so smooth back in the day. Well, there we go. A little bit fishtaily there as we came off there onto the rumble strips, as I'm just relaxing into reminiscing about my dim and distant past. Also got to drive a fire truck in reverse around an obstacle course, and I managed to make the instructor sick, which is quite impressive. 1:34.4 with a mistake, first real mistake we've made. And that was a phenomenal birthday present, thanks to my good lady. Well, Mr. Inostroza now appears back on the leaderboard. He's down there in 7th place. We are some 30 seconds now ahead of Mr. Breyer, who's gone to the pits. We're 33 seconds ahead of Mr. Mirzano in the McLaren. And the F40 is just starting to give me indicators that the tyres are just saying I've had enough. So lap 13. Mr. Inostroza up to 5th. He is slamming his way through that field. And we're trying to do the same thing through the back markers. We're approaching the back of the Genesis. We will just cruise on up there. Mr. Inostroza up to 4th place. He's made his way past Beauvoir as we slip in another 33.7. Just casually popping them in, even though the tyres are telling us they've had enough. We're going to use all the circuit. The fronts just giving it up a little bit. They're saying they're wearing a bit more. See if we can dive up his inside. Yes, we made it through. He wasn't too willing to let us through at the start of the race, but we have put an actual lap on that gentleman. I might now change my brake balance back to the middle as the back end decides to slip out on me. Try and take the wear off the front. But the inside tyres are looking okay. It's the outside ones that are screaming a little bit. "36-second lead. Mr. Inestrosa still in 4th. We're on lap 14, about to break into 15. Like I was saying, I was planning on a 12-second lead. I don't know how long our pit stop's going to be in comparison to Mr. Inestrosa, whether he's going to come out in front because he's just a short stop that does 3 of them. I mashed the brakes there, I probably shouldn't have done. Left foot braking speciality, just to slam them to the floor, which I shouldn't do. I'm not using load cell brakes, I'm using a very old set of G25 pedals. And I was asked the question why I choose to use G25s. Well, I had a set of G25 and a set of G29 pedals, and I chose to chop up the G25s rather than the G29s because the G29s were brand new. So I thought if I chop up the G25 ones, I could still fall back on the G29s and there wouldn't be any drama because they're identical except for a few upgrades. But the G25 ones work wonderfully. They're flipped upside down and attached to my rig. It's an MDF home built rig, in case you're interested, and I modelled it on the interior of my old BMW, and it's exactly matched to the sitting position, heights, etc., and foot position and pedals and arm height to my 3 Series. So with that, it's very comfortable, easy to drive. Another 33.6. We're just banging them in. Lap 16 just started. We're not setting any fastest laps now, but we're 40 seconds ahead. Inestrosa is up to 3rd. And I think we're just about to lap Mr. Pinell, who's kind of out of position, I think, through pit stops. He's in 16th place. He was actually up in 7th place when I overtook him last, but I think he's probably 2 stopping or 3 stopping, so he'll make up some ground later in the race. Thankfully moved over the way for the blue flag. Thankfully my voice is just holding out a bit better than it was earlier. I will be taking a slurp on the old Lensit very soon. Who's this in front of us? It looks like a Lamborghini. 42 seconds ahead of Mr. Miazano. We just missed a gear change there on timing. As we take to the grass, keeping the right side tyres cool. No, this is not iRacing. 42 seconds in the lead, a slightly slower 1:34.7. Mr. Neely in 15th place. It's just moved over, look at that, just lifted, just let us through. Thank you very much, sir. 3-second lead. Miazano still holds on to second place on lap 17. Don't know what the gap is between second and third. One expects it to be fairly close. Mr. Neto, naughty boy, haven't seen you in a while. 14th placed in the Mitzi. He's leaving us room. Super duper, thank you very much. Slurpy drink time. Just 3 more laps till we stop. Car felt fast into there, had to trail brake and lift out of it. Felt like it was carrying a lot of speed. It's now super lightweight, the car. Just got to watch it for over rotating as we go through a corner, because it is extremely light but extremely grippy. But it's feeling fast. Just pulsing the throttle there to find the grip point. I don't want it to break out to the right here. We did okay, just. Mr. Konomos in what looks like a BMW. Mr. Yamanaka goes to the pits. Mr. Miazano is just holding off Mr. Inostroza. We are 47 seconds ahead of those boys. Just putting in the purple sectors. Thank you, Mr. Konomos. You made me go slightly tight into my entry. Can I see Mr. Breer ahead of us? He was pushing the laps, wasn't he? 31.52. This looks like a 38 lapper then. Maybe. Need to brake a little bit earlier for that final corner. The car's coming up short. Mr. Yamanaka, who pit stopped from 4th place, with Mr. Breyer. Got a little queue there. These are all boys are all racing for position, so Mr. Pounder, Mr. Yamanaka all need to be just aware that we're coming. Mr. Inostroza's pitted 1 lap short. He's pitted on 19, end of 18, so he's quit the race already. Mr. Pounder coming through. He's already off his pattern. He's 1 lap short. Looking at the time, we should probably try and go in and pit stop now rather than committing to that 1 last lap, but we're not. We're going to run the 20th lap. I know it's going to be halfway, but we're going to try and commit to 39 laps to see if this guy can do it. We're on lap 20. We're just going to try and rub the face of Mr. Inostroza in it a little bit. We're 52 seconds ahead of Mr. Miazano. I don't believe he's pitted as yet. I think we're only going to fill up to like, I think I want to take 18 laps of fuel, maybe 19. We know it's going to be a long stop, but it's not going to be the full tank because we've still got 4.4 laps of fuel in there. This is going to be our stopping lap. We're at 54 seconds ahead. We're hoping to come out still in the lead. Mr. Innestroza has just popped back up into 8th place. Mr. Brooks makes his way to the pits and we're about to go in. We're going to change tyres. We could probably go all the way on these tyres, to be honest, but I'm not going to push them that hard. There we go. So we're going to change. And we're going to refuel to somewhere 18, 19 laps, I think. The fuel indicator's telling me to take it all. That little diamond at the top there above the F. The fuel's now going in. We're still showing a 56-second lead. It's ever so slow though. 28 minutes remaining at that point. Look how slow it is. Pit stop of 56 seconds or more and we've lost the lead of the race. 57, there's 17.7, 18, 19.2 and we're gone. So Miazano takes the lead. Brand new tyres and less fuel, so we're going to be hoping to be lapping quicker. We stopped for an amazingly long time there, and that's the problem, as said at the start. If you can do this race on fuel without stopping, you just stop for tyres, then that's awesomeness. Mr. Gallows just pitted for fuel. We're actually 2 seconds in the lead. We didn't actually lose the lead of the race. That's tremendous. So we've got to do it all again. We won't lap everybody, I don't think. Unless some of these boys haven't stopped. It would be nice to put everybody a lap down, but that was such a long pit stop. It's a real shame. So Mr. Innestroza back up to 6th place. He's already made his 2nd stop. He's got 1 more stop to go. We're not going to make any. We are just going to gallivant our way to the end. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Hitting that wall is not fun. That gets a penalty of 2 seconds because you cut the inside corner, which is a real shame. We're going to get that penalty served this lap, I think. Car broke free then. Going to switch that brake balance back to the front. We know these tyres will go all the way. There's that time penalty, which Mr. Neto makes benefit of. We'll just dive down his inside, force him to leave us room. But he didn't. He impacted on our right wing. It was definitely him turning into us. We were fully up his inside. There was no dive bomb. That was telegraphable. So let's not get another penalty. We don't need that. That'll be our worst lap of the race, apart from an out lap or an in lap. 50 odd second lap that was, that pit stop. It was really unnecessary, but there we are. Mr. Mahi, haven't seen you this race so far. Hello, sir. Going going to come up your inside. Mahi, Maya. Don't know how to say that. I've said it so many times, I still question whether I'm doing. Mr. Cruz in the Camaro. Mr. Pinnell, I'm guessing you've unlapped yourself. Now I'm lapping you again. You're making your way back up through the field as everybody else pits. Mr. Suswillow's doing well up there in 4th. He's now got Mr. Inestrosa behind him, and we are only 8 seconds in the lead. .133.7, so we're back in that time zone. Fastest lap of the race was made way back in something like lap 7 or 8. We've set purple sectors at this point of the track on a number of laps. Nice little bump there, and another 1/10 purple. Mr. Neely, we've overtaken you before, but you've made your way up to 12th through the round of pit stops. Well done. Just lent on you round the corner, my apologies. 12 seconds into the lead. Mr. Inestrosa making his way back up to 5th place, but he's going to be pit stopping again fairly soon. Purple by 1/4 of a second almost. Mr. Fernandez, who was the first person to pit. Very quick car. Just runs out of tyres. As you can see, he's pulling away from us. Look at him go. We got to chase this bad boy. See if we can get a bit of his draft. See if we can suck it in there. 133, 133. There's the new fastest lap of the race. Well done, Mr. Fernandez. Helped us to achieve our new limits, but a 132 would be wonderful, and he backed out of it there to let us go. As we come round again on Mr. Van den Hoel. Is this his second lap in? Give us some room, sonny boy. He wouldn't give it up. Putting him 2 laps down, he was fighting for it. ...18 seconds in the lead. You know you can see that clearly, top left-hand corner. But look at Mr. Inostra, still in 5th. His spirit's definitely broken. 20 minutes of the race to go almost. Probably 12 more laps, that'll put us on 37. That'll be disappointing, it's a good car, but we lost that whole minute in the pits. More than a minute. I think this is a 38 lap capable car, which is still a win. I wonder what we could tune it to make it just that bit quicker. I don't think it can go much quicker. As we leave the circuit, we don't want a penalty for that. That wasn't cheating. That was me. Ah, there's a penalty. That's ridiculous. That's frustrating. aim with this is to just run consecutive laps. Just keep smashing them in there. We can't do it if we're running pits, running penalties. 25 seconds in the lead. Mr. Breyer goes to pits for his second stop. One would assume he was in 7th place, having been in 3rd earlier in the race. Miazano, Beauvoir, Suswillo, Inostroza. And Inostroza will be going to the pits around about lap 28. He only got 9 laps out of his car last time. "18 minutes remaining. It was a silly mistake to run off the track to the right hand side. It only looks like we're going to win the race by around about a minute, you know. Unless these guys are going to continue to pit. But our one stop looks to be an effective strategy. Just don't think it's going to take us to the top of the tree, but it's going to do well. It's a highly capable car. I think there's a bit of room in the PP. If it could take mediums, I don't know, if you're running 40 laps 2 seconds quicker, that's 80 seconds, that is a whole lap. And if you only have to pit for tyres, you've still got that benefit. 80 seconds is a minute 40, which is another lap. It'd be interesting to know what kind of lap time those guys were running. Mr. Pounder, we're going to slingshot you another fastest lap. We are ever so close to that 1:32. We just ran ourselves long there because we were in the draft. Going to run outside Mr. Pounder there. He's done great to run us down that slipstream. Big car to be getting a slipstream off as well, that Bugatti. As we purple sector 1 again, and that time being 0.088 would be enough to take that fastest lap to a 1:32, which would be tremendous. See if we can get a slipstream off Mr. Breyer. I know he's quick, and 9th is not really his representative, his pace and speed. Inostroza is still there in 5th place, not really making inroads, or I can't see him doing it. He'll be pitting any time now. Didn't see where we were at that last pit stop, that last sector check. We've got 11 laps of fuel as we enter lap 29. Nobody in front of us. We've got a long way till we catch up to 2 cars. A 1:33.5, that's still pretty damn good. Tyre wear looks even. 2/3 of the way through the race, just under 15 minutes remaining. We're counting down the laps. 36 seconds in the lead. A 1/10 slower than we were on our fastest lap. Mr. Inostroza goes to the pits from 5th. He's not winning this race by any means. We slid that round that corner entirely sideways. Drift in the F40. Totally unintentional. Where do we come? 0.54 outside, so we're gaining time all the time. I'm going to brake just a little bit later, see if we can get round this corner just a little bit quicker. With Mr. Inestrosa in the pits, there's the opportunity here for us to come out behind him and put him a lap down, and that will make my day. I'd be happy to not get the laps and just put him a lap down. That'll be fabulous. He's not in the top 10 by the looks of it. If he did come out of the pits then, he's in front of us now, and we're going to do everything we can in the next 10 laps, in the next 13 minutes, to put him behind us. We know we're running faster laps than he can, or wants to. Miazano's gone to the pits. 43 seconds in the lead. That'll give Mr. Suswillow second place. And there he is, 52 seconds behind us. Miazano was on the end of his fuel. Beauvoir moves up to third. We really did mess that corner up, didn't we? We've got to go slower into there. Miazano's just taken. Inestrosa's gone to the pits again. I don't understand. How come he is without fuel? Is he still in the pits? 8th place. Don't understand. That's indefinitely down a lap. He's still there in 8th. In and out the pits, in and out the pits. There's something going on there. Mr. Lim, thank you, sir. 3rd time, I know. You've just given me that nudge, which I didn't need. Lost an entire second there because of you. Have we lapped everybody up to 8th place? Mr. Brooks next on the ladder. Mr. Beauvoir has overtaken Mr. Suswillow. Doesn't look like we're going to get that 132. We'll need a good slipstream along here and down the final straight, won't we? Almost 10 minutes remaining. Lap 31. Just have to see where we come up on the lap count. 6 laps is 10 minutes, so that'll be 37 laps, maybe 38. We'll just have to see where we are. It's going to be close on 38. Which I think is where we pitted on lap 19. Well, we pitted 20. But we could have pitted on 19, which gives us it, but I've got a feeling this will be a 37 lap car. But there's no disappointment because this bad boy still wins the race. It's one to go in your library of very capable Forest cars. Deep Forest. I believe that's Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks, the Canadian, in the Alpha 155. I feel the laps are starting to just stretch. This will be a 135, I think, based on feeling. We're 1 minute ahead of the car behind, Mr. Beauvoir. No, it's another 34.2. It's not too bad. As Mr. Brooks just starts to drop sparks as he goes into that first corner. Takes the wider line through there as though he's giving me the place. He's just indicating that it's there for me to take. He did, he runs wide for us. Thank you very much, sir, you're a gentleman. As he blips me wide, thank you. Coming up on the back of the R8, Mr. Gallo. It's not the R8, it's the NSX, Mr. Gallo. First time we're really having any dealings with Mr. Gallo today. Nostroza still down there in 8th place, 1 lap behind, which is what we like to see. Break their spirit, break their morale. Thank you, Mr. Gallo. Giving it up, mate, were you? But we broke you, we've done you, we're past you, we're away. 134.5. As we make our way round on lap 34, 7 minutes to go, and we're still doing fine. The race is still within our grasp. I want to take the F40 to Kyoto. I think it's a lovely drivable car. Its fuel usage is just a bit too heavy though for these kind of races to be a record breaker. But it's a gold trophy winner. Not counting my chickens just yet. So we've lapped up to 6th, Mr. Miazano next in the McLaren. They're all getting the flag. Mr. Portilla's there as well. We're going to have to do them both. There we go. A 133.4. Back to Mr. Pinnell. Hate to say it, is this your 4th lap, Mr. Pinnell? Or is it 3rd? Seem to have overtaken you a lot. Felt that was cut a little bit too tight. There's Mr. Yamanaka. Four minutes 45 left to go in the race. I've lapped up to 4th. Almost. 4th is in front of us. Got no time displayed back until 2nd. I've been very conservative in braking into that hairpin. Rather concerned about overshooting and running long. 1:14 there, just 20 seconds then from lapping Mr. Beauvoir in 2nd place. On to lap 36. Looks like we've definitely got the fuel to do this. Who's that in front of us? Is that Mr. Mahi and Mr. Suswillow? That would be impressive as it is. I don't think it is. I think there's Suswillow right ahead, just going around the hairpin. In front of us, we've got Mr. Mahi and Mr. Van Nistelrooy, Van den Neuvel. That's his name, Van den Neuvel, I forget. So 20th, Mr. Mahi going to the pits. Mr. Van den Neuvel just leaving us the room. Ahead of us is Suswillow. 1:33.3, repeating the lap time performance. Very good. Sliding it in. Tyre condition much better in this second half of the race. A lighter car at the start of the second half's obviously caused less heat movement through the tyres, one would suspect. And that slide through turn one has given us a quarter of a second of advantage. Have I just blown it by just ruining the throttle control through that corner? Is that Mr. Suswillow? I think that's actually Mr. Conomos as we slide through that corner, and Mr. Suswillow. That's not the fastest way around the corner, is it? As they clatter off the barrier, showering sparks into the track. Those two are getting the flag. Is it Mr. Fernandez? There's a potential here for the fastest lap of the race. We're going to brake really late. See if we can gain some benefit and the drag off Mr. Suswillow. Mr. Fernandez is very quick. I think that's blown it. I don't think we'll get the 32, but with 1 minute left we're going to get the 38th lap. It's a 33.4. It's going to be 38 laps for this bad boy, which is impressive for an old dinosaur tank that it is, but it sounds beautiful. It treats its tyres with respect and it drives really, really well. We needed to find 30 seconds plus a lap to equal the cappuccino. Mr. Healy in 14th place, getting lapped for the second time. Great part about this was in Austria back in 8th place. Look, he had a bit of an episode with some pit stops and I don't know what was going on there, but everybody now crossing the line as the counter ticks to 0. Everybody crossing the line now is done with the race. They are finished. As we slide it round with a bit of a glory boy drift round the final hairpin. As night time draws in, we come charging down the hill to prove that the F40 has found its place. It's a great racer at the Deep Forest. Lovely jubbly, 38 laps it is. Our previous record was 39 laps in the cappuccino. Quite happy with that. 1 lap on everybody. Fastest lap 1:33.027, and we put 3 laps on 2 competitors. Stunning little car. Mr. Inostra there. 1 lap down in 8th place. And there she is. What an absolute stunner. Let's have a look at that ranking board just to confirm it. There we are, 5th on the board with the F40. 92, 38 laps done. Just behind the Quattro. Not too shabby a performance. Let's see what we can bring out next time. Nowhere near the top 10 stars. Look, there's some 38 laps there, but not us. Not good enough for us. Carrera GTS, very good. And the 155. Very good stuff. Thank you very much, folks. If you've got any comments, questions, or anything you like, a car you want me to try, give me a shout out, give me a comment in the bottom of here, or contact me on PSN, Widdowmaker 10144. Thank you very much, folks. We'll see you on the next one. All the best. Take care. Goodbye. Nothing. 341 miles for the day.